Servus, it's me again, Tegan from Lywand, and I'm pleased to be able to introduce to you today our new feature, the Internal Network Check. Back in November 2024, we introduced Asset Discovery, a feature that allows you to identify all devices accessible on the network, which was, shall we say, the first step. Today, we're going one step further. The network check allows you to comprehensively review the devices found. Before we take a detailed look at the configuration, here is a brief overview of our different check types. The external check analyzes the external IT infrastructure, such as domains, IP addresses, and email addresses, from the perspective of a potential attacker. The aim is to identify vulnerabilities and possible points of entry. From now on, there are two options for the internal infrastructure. Firstly, Windows laptops and servers can be checked with the agent check. The so-called agents are installed directly on the devices. Agent check not only searches for common vulnerabilities and exposures, CVEs, but also checks best practice configurations, current patch levels, and basic security mechanisms. Secondly, the network check can now be used to check all devices in the internal infrastructure via a gateway, from printers and smartphones to Linux and Mac devices. This makes it possible to examine targets that are not equipped with an agent for weak points and possible entry points, similar to the external check. Before we start configuring the network check, Asset Discovery should be set up and network devices should already have been found. If you have not already done so, you can find more details in this video. The link is in the description. In this example, that's already done, and we can start configuring the network check. Clicking on the gear icon in the upper right corner takes us to the gateway setup. The first step is to configure the scanner. To do this, we enter a free scanner IP address, including a subnet mask from the network in which our targets are located. This IP address will be used exclusively for the check. It is particularly important here that the scanner IP address is different from the gateway IP address. In addition, we enter the IP address of the DNS server and click on the Create Gateway button. In the second step, we download the gateway in the desired format. This VM can then be uploaded and set up on a server. To do this, we receive the URL and token in the third step. Last but not least, it is important that the network settings for the gateway are configured correctly. 1. The scanner IP address must be able to reach the network devices. 2. The gateway IP address must be able to reach the external IP addresses. These firewall settings are necessary for this. Step-by-step instructions for setting up the gateway VM can be found in our knowledge base. As soon as the gateway is connected, the status is displayed in the platform. Before we can perform the first internal network check, we have to set up the scope of the check. Using bulk action, we add the targets to be scanned to the scope of the check. Conventional network scanners define the scope of the test based on IP addresses. However, since these change frequently, the scan results often cannot be reliably assigned to the correct devices. With Lywand, on the other hand, the scope of the check is configured based on the specific assets independently of the respective IP addresses. This not only saves time, but also reduces the effort involved. Now let's switch back to the configuration page and set up ongoing checks. The gateway must be online during the scan, otherwise it cannot be carried out. As with the external check, we can also initiate a manual check at any time here. Another new function is the ability to scan parts of the infrastructure both internally and externally. This is particularly useful if you want to verify the effectiveness of measures without running a full check. Partial checks can be started directly in the infrastructure or in the check insights. After an internal network check has been carried out, the results are seamlessly integrated into the platform as usual, whether in the vulnerability details, the renovation plan, or the security dashboard. Internal network checks are now also displayed as points in the evaluation process. Two new metrics provide additional transparency: how up to date are the results, and to what extent has the IT infrastructure been checked. These metrics and more are now also displayed in the partner dashboard, so you can keep track of all your customers. That's all from us. We hope we've been able to give you an exciting insight into our new feature. The new price list is now available from our distribution partners. Why not try out the new feature right now and let us know what you think of it? As always, we look forward to your feedback. To do so, please use our feature request portal. If you have any questions, our sales team, including myself, are always happy to help. Thanks for watching and see you next time. Stay Lywand!